Awesome. Right now, coming off of training camp and going into the first game, we're very excited about our defense, just the way they're communicating, just the way they're dedicated to the team. We really feel really good about just where they are mentally and physically. Our guys have had a really solid fall camp. Right now, they just want to get the details down for this game, and they're excited to go up to Madison and play some football.
Clayton, the guys that are back on your unit, in year two, do you really see a lot of signs that, for a lack of a better phrase, the game as far as the defensive schemes have slowed down for them? In other words, they're able to process it better and more importantly, quicker?
Yes, that's a good question, but we definitely noticed that as a staff, that our guys in year two of our system that they definitely pick things up a lot quicker than they have in the past. And it started back in January with Coach Stanford's plan with just getting football going right back in January, right after the bowl break. I believe our guys are committed to they was committed to the spring plan. They were committed to the summer PRP plan. And it's obvious that our guys know our system a lot better than they did last year.
When you watch Jonathan Taylor on the tape, what stands out to you?
Just about everything about the guy. I think the first thing is his patience as a running back. To be so young and to understand blocking schemes, to understand linebacker safety flow, his ability to really cut it up and make people miss and take it the distance is really the thing that people think that he's a bruiser type back, but he has some 50-plus, 60-yard runs throughout the 2017 season, and he's impressive. I believe that, he has a chance to really, do some big things this year, hopefully. We can control him on Friday night.
I know that he got a lot of his yards last season after contact.
Yes.
Getting 11 guys to the football on Friday night.
That's been the number one thing that we said day one from camp. The first 2 or 3 days, we really didn't grade the film in regards of pluses and minuses. We graded effort. We talked about effort. We showed effort. We wanted our entire defense, our entire team to understand how important effort really is for us to be successful. Obviously, it was leading up to game one, knowing that we was facing Wisconsin, their running tradition, not only just Taylor, but you take it all the way back. But we just knew that going into the game, our only chance is to make sure we're hustling to the ball every single snap.
Sure, defensive line rotation will be key on Friday, right? Getting a lot of guys in there, keep them fresh.
Yes, it will be. It's always defensive line rotation going on because those guys are sometimes they can't last as long as a defensive back. A lot of defensive coaches I've been around rotate, and we rotate. But I think that's going to be very important. Friday night game, first game, so you're going to be a little bit more amped up than usual. But the rotation will be very, very important.
What have you guys been doing to prepare them for the size that they're going to go up against that Wisconsin offensive line?
Coach Stanford's doing a good job of having us going against our first O-line a little bit more this week, just so we can simulate that size, obviously. But, they're 320 across the board except one guy who's probably 14. But that don't mean, obviously, they're 300-plus all the way across the board. So trying to simulate that is going to be almost basically impossible. We just got to make sure we adjust on Friday night.
What kind of improvements has Corey Darden made going into his second year as a starter?
Corey is basically our MVP, pretty much last year and this year. He's improved from a production standpoint. Obviously, we haven't played a game since the Georgia State game, but his production throughout spring, throughout training camp, and his just consistency has been the main thing, and he's a vital part of this whole team.
That nickelback position in this particular defense, how important of a role does this player play?
You don't want to say one role is more important than the other, but in this defense, it's very important because it's hard to recruit that player. So when we out recruiting every single spring and winter, we're looking for nickelbacks. Just can he play nickel is always the question that comes up. But it's very important because that guy has to be able to do multiple things.
Clayton, Ben and Dre, captains, you obviously are very familiar with them. They seem like two different people, though, but in two very good ways.
Yes.
What do you enjoy about coaching both of them and the different elements they bring to your defense?
Well, number one, in regards to coaching those guys, it's been awesome to coach both of them. Obviously, I have Dre Ferris in my room with me at corners. He's a student of the game. He brings it every single day. Every day is a serious day for Dre Ferris. You can get him to laugh every now and again, but for the most part, he's pretty locked in. He wants to be great at everything he does. Ben Hope brings just an intensity to the game that, and to the meeting, to every walkthrough, to every unit meeting, to every, jog through that we're doing. He always brings this certain intensity, and I think that just carries over to our defense. And obviously, they've both been voted captains by all teammates. Getting votes from both sides of the ball says a lot about those two guys as men, and more importantly, also football players.
Coach, when you get to open your season against such a talented offense, does that serve as almost a measuring stick for you as a coach to see what your defense might be capable of this season?
You think about those things a little bit, you really do. But at the same time, you want to go out there and execute the first game. You don't want to have the first game blunders or blown coverages, guys in the wrong gap. You want to make sure that guys are sound. And you can you get a good feel for who we are defensively after this first game going against an opponent like this. We'll know where we're strong at. We'll know where we need to get some improvements at as well. So I'm excited about it. I know our staff's excited about it, and it's also our players.
Clayton, what do you think of the Badgers quarterback, Corny Burke?
You know what? After watching him, watch every single game that he played in last year, he made some plays. He's a playmaker. He's more than a playmaker than what people give him. Obviously, Coach Chris is an offensive coach who's done a really good job over the years of making sure that their quarterbacks run their system correctly, and their quarterbacks make the right decisions throughout their whole, every progression, every run, every check. You can see it. And the guy's a really good leader. He does a good job. I think he has another season after this. But I like, as a quarterback, if I'm just watching as a football fan, I like what he brings to the table. I know there was a time where, a couple games here and there where he might have missed some throws. He won them back, and you can see him bounce back. And I think that's what's important. That's what I watch. I look at quarterbacks. Do they get rattled? If they get rattled, that excites us as coordinators, play callers. But the guy does not get rattled, and he has a system that he believes in.
Anything else? Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.